And welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. I'm doing another 32X video, and this one is a game that really demonstrates what that little machine can do. This is Afterburner 2 for the 32X. Now, Afterburner came out on the Sega Genesis itself and Mega Drive, and they were very good, but this game, or this version of the game for the 32X, this really shows what this piece of hardware can do. I mean, it runs super smooth. And if you ever played this game in the arcade, you know what I'm talking about. This game has that scrolling landscape effect, which you can see quite clearly here. And to get that to run on a home console I don't know, the late 90s, like, the fact that this is running on a 16-bit console, the Sega Genesis, you'd never get this to work. So I just thought I would talk a little bit about this game. Now it's super hard. I mean, I'm going to crash and burn a lot, but that's kind of on purpose. Well, okay, I'm just dying because it's such a hard game. But what I want you to do is just have a look at how the ground races up toward you when you die in this game. Because you've got, much like the arcade machine, you've got sprites indicating hills and valleys and that kind of thing. And they all sort of zoom up to the screen super fast whenever you're doing this. I mean, these cloud levels, these don't really show off what the machine can do. It's only when you're down over the canyons and the villages and that kind of stuff, and you see rock cliffs and buildings and tumbleweeds and everything else flying by the screen, like dozens and dozens of them. And like, look at that, look at the trees there. You can see how smooth they're coming toward the screen. And absolutely no problem for the 32X to render that. That's what it looked like in the arcade. So let me give this a whirl. Now I'm going to die really quick, but that's fine. I'll just give you an idea what the gameplay's like. You can do barrel rolls, which are actually kind of necessary in this game. And you want to fire your missiles when you can as well. Now, let's just see. You see how the ground, like, it just races by, and that's just like in the arcade machine. Like, it really does an amazing job. This little 32X port, fantastic. I am loving what this machine is doing. Oh, I died, of course. Now, I'm lucky if I get to the bottom of this level where it actually does the, you actually come in for a landing, and depending on the version, I think the arcade machine had the outrun car racing beside you, and I'm not sure which one the 32X has. I think it might be Tom Cruise on his motorbike, a la Top Gun. Or maybe that's the arcade machine. I can't remember, but, oh, I died again. I don't think we're going to get that far. But yeah, look at all the buildings down there, nicely rendered, and just dozens and dozens of them, and just flying by the screen with no problem at all. And then we do this reload level. Nothing to have to touch here, it just automatically loads you up. Gives you all your missiles back. Back over the nighttime terrain here. There we go. Yeah, it's super hard to get past some of these levels. But honestly, the 32X is handling it no problem at all. It's going in. It's got everything. Well, okay, except for the fact that I'm dying. Yeah, it's handling it just fine. Ah, game over. I'll try it one more time here. And we're off. Yeah, I believe the overall strategy is you want to kind of paint as many of those airplanes with your cursor so that your auto lock or your missile lock will get them, and also to avoid getting killed, which is not all that easy. Now, one other thing worth noting is on this Sega Genesis version, I'm using the 6-button controller, And I honestly think that is better, although ironically, I've scored better with the 3-button controller. I'm not sure why that would be. However, I think overall, you would want a 6-button controller. Oh, I died. You would want a 6-button controller if you possibly can, and I'll show you why in a second. But I just love the level of detail and the fact that the machine is handling it no problem at all. I mean, it's a very fast game, like a super fast game. And the 32X, oh yeah, no problem, hardly breaking a sweat. Love this game. This really does showcase what that 32X can do. I love it. Just too bad the game is so hard. As I mentioned, what you really want to do if you're want to play this game is get one of these, the 6-button controller. The D-pad is really not that bad of a deal, but the 6 buttons you're going to need because there are quite a few times in the game where you need to speed up and slow down, and that's actually handled with the extra buttons up here. I'll show you in a second how the 3-button controller works, but the 6 is really handy for definitely on the speed factor. Now, I think the default when you first fire the game up is A is do a barrel roll, B is fire your missiles, and C is, if you just sort of hold that down, you're firing your Vulcan machine gun. With the 3-button controller, because you don't have this speed up and slow down option up here, they came up with an interesting control scheme for that, and I'll show you that in a second. I particularly like, whenever I'm playing, leave that as do a barrel roll, but actually move the machine guns to the middle button, and then fire the missiles with the C. And then I can sort of slide my finger up, my thumb up, and do the speed up and slow down thing on X, Y, and Z. Okay, now we've got the 3-button controller hooked up. Let me show you the options for that. As you can see here, the A and the C button are actually combined to being both your speed high, speed low, as well as fire your Vulcan, which is the machine gun. So as you're flying along, you would really just hit B to launch your missiles, and then A will both fire your machine gun, and C will also fire your machine gun, but they'll speed you up and they'll slow you down. Now, you don't really need to control your speed too much in this game, and I'm going to talk about that last. So what I usually do for the 3-button controller, what I would recommend to people do, is turn on Auto Vulcan. That way you're firing your machine guns just all the time, because it really doesn't matter. You're not going to ever run out of ammo on that thing. And then, yeah, leave it with this control scheme. Maybe a switch so that if you like, because I like A is on the left and C is on the right. I like A to be low and C to be high. But this way, you're flying along, always shooting your machine gun, just occasionally use your missile, and then just use A and C to speed up and slow down. Let me show you what I mean. So you see, now I'm just firing my machine gun all the time. This is just me using the D-pad. I'm not doing anything at all here, and yet there go my machine gun fire. So now all I need to do is carefully, now if I wanted to speed up, I'll just hit C. You can see there, I've gone way up into in the bottom area there, before I died. My speed was up at 3. I guess I could fire some of these missiles too. Let me do that. Let's get some bad guys here. There we go, out of the way. And then if I wanted to slow down, I'll just hold down my A button. Although I think I'm actually going as slow as I possibly can right now. Let me speed up a bit. There we go. And, and I died. Anyway, that's the way they handle the 3-button controller. It's not great, but it does show. You want to go through the options, see what works best for you, and if you've only got a 3-button controller, yeah. I guess that's your solution. Ironically, as I say, I do find I do better for my score when I play that way. But give me that 6-button controller any day. Basically, after that nighttime level, there's this kind of canyon sequence where what you want to do is basically slow down, and you're zooming in among these caverns and canyon systems. So a little bit like flying, if you imagine, through the Grand Canyon in Nevada. Anyway, yeah, try check YouTube for people who can play this game better than me, and you'll see that sequence. That's an area where you do need to slow down, but honestly, other than that one section, I find I never need to really speed up and slow down in the majority of the game. And if you watch other people playing, you'll notice their speed hardly ever changes either. So the up and down speed control sounds like it's pretty important. It's not really. And in my case anyway, I'm dying before I get that far to really make it important in my game. Anyway, so this is Afterburner on the Sega 32X. I absolutely love the 32X, as I've mentioned before. And of all games, this one really shows what it can do. I mean, look at that glorious explosion. I'm just sorry that was for me, for my game. Anyway, until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.